Dante Alighieri's La Vita Nuova is a special book that mixes poetry and storytelling, creating a unique blend that captures the essence of human emotions. It's like taking a trip into the heart of a young man, trying to understand love, sadness, and the power of words. Each poem and story in the book reflects Dante's inner turmoil and his quest for meaning. Written a long time ago, in the late 1200s, this book tells the story of Dante's crush on a girl named Beatrice Portinari. Beatrice was not just any girl, she was the muse who inspired Dante's greatest works. But it's more than just a diary, it's a window into Dante's soul, showing us his transformation from a young lover to a profound poet. The book shows us how Dante became a great poet and gives us clues about his most famous book, The Divine Comedy. This transformation is evident in the way he writes about love, not just as a fleeting emotion, but as a powerful force that shapes one's destiny. The title, La Vita Nuova, means new life in Italian, and it's about how love changed Dante's life forever. This new life was not just about romantic love, but also about a deeper spiritual awakening. Dante believed that meeting Beatrice sparked his imagination and helped him discover who he was meant to be. Her influence was so profound that it led him to explore themes of love, loss, and redemption in his later works. Through beautiful poems and stories, Dante lets us see his journey from a young man with a crush to someone who deeply understands what true love really means. His writings offer a glimpse into the complexities of human emotions and the transformative power of love. This journey about love's ups and downs becomes super important in Dante's life, shaping his writing and leading him to a stronger connection with his spiritual side. His experiences with love and loss ultimately guide him towards a greater understanding of himself and the world around him. It's organized around important moments in Dante's life, all connected to his love for Beatrice. But it's not a simple story. Dante uses a special way of telling his story, like looking through a double lens. He's both the excited young lover experiencing everything for the first time, and the older, wiser poet looking back on those memories. This double perspective lets Dante explore his past with both fresh eyes and deep thought. The poems, often sonnets or canzoni, which are like songs, capture the strong feelings of love, longing, and sadness. The stories, on the other hand, give us background and explain the poems, showing how Dante's understanding of love, poetry, and himself changed over time. This mix of poetry and storytelling creates a rich and complex picture of the artist as a young man, showing how powerful memories and reflection can be. Dante's first meeting with Beatrice, when they were both only 9 years old, is described like a magical moment. It was as if the universe had conspired to bring them together, setting the stage for a love that would transcend time and space. This encounter, though brief, left an indelible mark on Dante's heart and soul. He's instantly smitten, feeling a strong emotional and spiritual connection. This wasn't just a simple childhood crush, it was a profound awakening of his innermost feelings. Dante felt as though he had found a kindred spirit in Beatrice, someone who could understand the depths of his emotions without a single word being spoken. This first crush, however, is influenced by the tradition of courtly love that was popular in Europe at that time. Courtly love was an idealized and often unattainable form of love, celebrated in poetry and song. It was a love that demanded admiration from afar, filled with longing and reverence. Dante's early poems follow the rules of courtly love, showing Beatrice as an ideal woman who is beautiful, graceful, and impossible to have. She becomes a symbol of perfection, an ethereal being who inspires his every word and thought. His verses are filled with admiration and adoration, painting her as a divine figure. He experiences the pain of unrequited love, his feelings swinging between extreme happiness when he sees Beatrice and deep sadness when she's not around. This emotional turmoil fuels his creativity, leading him to pour his heart out in his poetry. Each encounter with Beatrice, no matter how fleeting, becomes a source of inspiration and agony. But even in these early poems, there are hints that Dante's understanding of love goes beyond simple courtly love. He begins to see love as a transformative force, something that can elevate the human spirit and bring out the best in a person. His writings start to reflect a deeper, more philosophical understanding of love's true nature. He realizes that his love for Beatrice makes him a better person, inspiring him to write poetry and be more kind and virtuous. This realization marks the beginning of his journey towards a more profound and spiritual conception of love. Beatrice becomes not just an object of desire, but a guiding light, leading him towards personal growth and enlightenment. This early understanding that love can elevate the soul hints at the deeper philosophical ideas that will come later in his life. Dante's love for Beatrice becomes a central theme in his works, influencing his thoughts and writings for years to come. It is a love that transcends the physical, reaching into the realms of the spiritual and the eternal. As Dante grows older, so does his understanding of love. What began as a youthful infatuation evolves into a profound exploration of the human condition. He has conversations with other poets, debating what love is and how it affects our hearts and minds. These discussions are not just casual chats but deep philosophical debates that challenge his preconceptions. He wrestles with different viewpoints, with some arguing that love is a dangerous feeling that can drive you crazy, leading to irrational decisions and emotional turmoil, while others see it as a source of joy and creativity, a divine gift that inspires art, music, and poetry. These contrasting opinions force Dante to look deeper into his own heart. Through these intellectual discussions, Dante starts to develop his own unique perspective on love. He begins to see it not just as an emotion, but as a transformative power that can change one's entire being. He moves past the superficiality of courtly love, realizing that true love is not just about physical attraction, but a powerful force that can elevate the soul and lead to spiritual enlightenment. This realization marks a significant shift in his thinking. This evolving understanding of love is reflected in his poetry, which becomes more complex and thoughtful, exploring themes of virtue, grace, and the divine. His writings start to delve into the moral and ethical dimensions of love. Dante's love for Beatrice becomes a trigger for intellectual and spiritual growth, leading him to think about the nature of beauty, goodness, and the ultimate meaning of life. Her influence on him is profound, shaping not just his poetry but his entire worldview. Beatrice, although physically distant for much of, remains a constant presence in Dante's thoughts and writing. She is his muse, the one who inspires his poetry and guides his spiritual journey. Dante sees Beatrice as almost angelic, a reflection of divine beauty and grace. Her presence, even in his imagination, has a transformative effect on him. He strives to be worthy of her love, seeking to cultivate his own virtues and live a more meaningful life. Beatrice's eventual death throws Dante into profound despair, yet it also marks a turning point in his understanding of love. He realizes that true love transcends physical death, and that Beatrice's spiritual presence will continue to guide him. This realization paves the way for his later works, where Beatrice becomes a symbol of divine grace and guides Dante on his journey through the afterlife in the. While it's deeply personal, Dante's exploration of love goes beyond his own experience. He begins to see his love for Beatrice as something to be shared, a source of inspiration not just for himself, but for others. This shift from private passion to public voice is evident in the structure of itself. By framing his personal experiences within a larger philosophical and literary context, Dante elevates his love for Beatrice into a universal exploration of the human condition. He uses his own journey as a starting point to explore broader themes of love, loss, faith, and the search for meaning in a temporary world. This transition from the personal to the universal marks a significant development in Dante's artistic maturity, foreshadowing the ambitious scope and profound themes of his later works. Although complete in itself, can also be seen as a kind of introduction to Dante's most famous work, the. Many of the themes, ideas, and even characters that appear and find their fullest expression in the. Beatrice, who guides Dante through the spiritual realms in the, first appears as a source of inspiration and spiritual guidance in. The themes of love, loss, redemption, and the journey of the soul, central to the, are first explored in the intimate and personal context of. Even Dante's innovative use of everyday Italian, rather than the traditional Latin, anticipates his groundbreaking decision to write thee in the language of the people, making it accessible to a wider audience. After completing, Dante's life took a dramatic turn. He became deeply involved in the turbulent politics of Florence, which eventually led to his exile from his beloved city in 1302. This period of exile turned out to be a time of great literary productivity for Dante. He wrote extensively on political, philosophical, and linguistic topics, producing works such as On the Eloquence of the Vernacular and The Banquet, It was also during his exile that Dante began work on the epic poem that would secure his place as one of the greatest writers in Western literature. Despite the hardships he faced, Dante never abandoned the themes of love, hope, and the search for spiritual meaning that he first explored in Dante Alighieri's is a testament to the enduring power of love. It is a work of remarkable depth and complexity, offering insights into the mind of a young poet grappling with love's transformative power. More than just a personal account of youthful infatuation, explores universal themes that continue to resonate with readers centuries later. The nature of love, the pain of loss, the search for meaning, and the transcendent power of art. Through its innovative structure, lyrical beauty, and philosophical depth, stands as a landmark achievement in Western literature. It is a testament to the enduring power of love to inspire, transform, and ultimately redeem the human spirit. Remember to press like and subscribe for more insights into the world of literature.